I didn't expect anything meaningful to happen that evening. It was one of those quiet weekends where the house felt bigger than it was. My mom had gone out for dinner, and I was left behind with the hum of the ceiling fan and a half-finished cup of tea that had gone cold. I remember scrolling through my phone, not really looking at anything, just filling the silence. That kind of loneliness where you're not exactly sad, but you know something's missing. Then the doorbell rang. I opened it expecting a delivery guy, but instead I found her standing there. "Hey, is your mom home?" she asked, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. I knew who she was, of course. My mom's best friend. I had seen her a few times growing up, but never really noticed her. Until that moment. "She stepped out," I said, "but she should be back soon. You can wait if you want." She hesitated, then smiled lightly. "I don't want to intrude." "You're not," I said, stepping aside. That's how it started. No music, no dramatic moment. Just a simple decision to let someone in. She sat on the couch, adjusting the sleeves of her soft beige sweater, looking around like she was seeing the place differently. "I haven't been here in a while," she said. "Yeah, things got busy, I guess." There was a pause, not awkward, just unfamiliar. I brought her tea, even though mine had gone cold. She thanked me like it actually meant something. That small detail stayed with me longer than it should have. We talked about nothing important. Work, traffic, how the city felt more crowded every year. But there was something easy about it. I wasn't trying to impress her. She wasn't trying to be anything other than herself. At one point, she laughed, really laughed, and I noticed how tired her eyes looked when she stopped. "Long day?" I asked. "Long, everything," she said, half smiling. I didn't ask more. It didn't feel like the moment for it. Instead, I told her about my job, how I wasn't sure if I was moving forward or just staying busy to avoid thinking. She listened. Not the polite kind of listening, but the kind where you feel like your words actually land somewhere. By the time my mom came back, it felt like something had quietly shifted. Nothing obvious, nothing you could point to, but when she got up to leave, she looked at me for a second longer than necessary. "Maybe we'll talk again," she said. It wasn't a promise, but it stayed with me. And that night, for the first time in a while, the house didn't feel quite as empty. We didn't start meeting intentionally. At first, it was random. She'd come over when my mom was around, and somehow we'd end up in the same room, talking. Then it turned into something else. The first time we actually met alone was at a small cafe near my office. I was already in the area, she said, sitting across from me. "Right?" I replied, smiling. We both knew that wasn't entirely true. That day, we talked for hours. About movies, childhood memories, the strange pressure of being in your late 20s and not knowing if you're on the right path. The second time was a walk in the park. It wasn't planned either, at least not officially. We walked side by side, sometimes talking, sometimes just listening to the quiet. At one point, she stopped and said, "Do you ever feel like life is moving, but you're not sure where it's taking you?" "All the time," I said. She nodded, like that answer mattered more than anything else I could have said. The third moment was at my place again. My mom wasn't home. We sat on the floor this time, not the couch. She told me about her marriage, not in a dramatic way. "No anger, no blame. Sometimes things just become routine," she said. "Not bad, just quiet in the wrong way." I didn't know what to say, so I didn't try to fix it. I just stayed there, and somehow that was enough. After that, things became normal. Morning texts. "Did you sleep?" "Barely." "You?" Evening calls that lasted longer than they should. We built a routine without talking about it. But there were moments, small ones, that hinted at something deeper. Like when she said, "I might move next year. My husband's considering a transfer." I paused. "Where?" "Not here," she said. We didn't talk about it after that, but the thought stayed. Like a quiet warning neither of us wanted to hear. It didn't fall apart suddenly. That's the thing about a realistic love story. It changes slowly, almost politely. One evening, we were sitting in the car outside her place. "I've been thinking about the move," she said. "Yeah, it might be good. A fresh start." I nodded, even though something inside me tightened. "And you?" she asked. "Do you see yourself here long term?" "I don't know," I said honestly. "But I don't want to keep running from things either." She looked at me for a moment. "That's the difference," she said softly. "What is?" "You're trying to stay. I might need to leave." It wasn't a fight, just a realization. After that, something shifted, not in what we said, but in what we didn't. Silences became heavier. I started overthinking small things. Her replies felt slightly delayed, her tones slightly distant, and I hated that I noticed, because I knew this wasn't about losing interest. It was about something bigger, something neither of us could control. The news came on a random Tuesday. I got the confirmation, she said over the phone. About the move. Yeah. There was a pause. When? I asked. A few months. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. That soon? Yeah. We didn't fill the silence this time. Later that evening, we met. She looked the same, but something in her posture had changed. More distant. More resolved. I didn't think it would feel like this, she said. Like what? Like I'm already leaving. I nodded, but I didn't trust my voice. We sat there side by side, not touching. There were things we could have said, but we didn't, because saying them would make everything real, and neither of us was ready for that. The text got shorter. Busy today. Talk later. Calls became rare. When we did talk, we sounded normal. Too normal. Like we were trying to protect something by not looking at it directly. One evening, we met again at the cafe. Same place as before. Same table. But it felt different. We talked about random things, work, whether anything except us. At one point, she laughed at something I said. For a second, it felt like before. Like nothing had changed. And that was the hardest part, because it reminded me of what we were losing. That night, I typed a message after she left. I don't think I'm ready to let this go. I stared at it for a long time. Then I deleted it. We met at a park bench. Late evening. Quiet. No dramatic setup. She sat down beside me, leaving just enough space between us. How are you? She asked. I've been better, I said. She nodded. I know. There was a long pause. I don't think we can keep doing this, she said softly. I looked at my hands. Yeah, I replied. Not because I wanted to agree, but because I understood. It's not that I don't, she started, then stopped. I know, I said. We didn't need to finish the sentence. That was the thing about us. We understood the unfinished parts. I wish the timing was different, she said. Me too. Another pause. Then she smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. You made things less quiet for me, she said. I swallowed. You did the same. We sat there a little longer, neither of us rushing to leave, but both knowing we had to. Finally, she stood up. I didn't stop her, because this wasn't something you could fight. It wasn't about choosing each other. It was about everything around us. She took a step, then turned back. Take care of yourself, she said. You too. And then she left. Just like that. No drama. No closure speech. Just two people letting go with love. Time moved the way it always does, slow at first, then all at once. Weeks turned into months. The silence became normal again, but I wasn't the same. I started focusing on things I had been avoiding. My work, my future, myself, not as a distraction, but as a way forward. Sometimes I'd think about her, not with regret, but with a quiet understanding. What we had was real. It just wasn't meant to last. And that doesn't make it any less meaningful. If anything, it makes it more honest. Because not every emotional love story is about staying together. Some are about learning how to let go without breaking what was good. That's what ours was. A romantic breakup story that didn't need villains. Just timing. Just life. Just two people growing apart, even when they didn't want to. And maybe that's what a mature breakup really is. Not losing love, but choosing to respect it, even when it means walking away. Some people don't leave your life because the love fades. Sometimes they leave because life moves and you learn to move with it.